one of your DC Minion Weekend Update hosts.
Welcome to DC Minion Update. I'm Lauren.
I already did that, and I'm Colton again. Well, let's start with some good news tonight. DC Minion welcomed a number of babies this year. Mazel tov to all the new parents who say they're excited to pass their babies around to members of the community, starting with whoever's closest to the diaper bag during an emergency.
A special welcome to Margarita and Mo's baby, Sam. Even though he's still a baby, we're pretty sure he'll attend more kiddishes this year than most members. And for now, contribute significantly less to the DC Minion revenue.
Speaking of kiddish, DC Minion has recently instituted a new bagel policy. After the Great Bagel Incident of 2025, members are now required to put the cream cheese on the side of their plates and share only after stepping away from the kiddish table. The kiddish team, some booze. The kiddish team say this rule is meant to improve traffic flow, which is exactly what Moses said before wandering the desert for 40 years.
I don't know. I know it's controversial, but I like it. It's very efficient. You just grab, step, schmear. 3 simple steps. Honestly, it sounds less like a bagel policy and more like a fitness class at the JCC. 1, 2, grab, step, schmear, feel the burn in your lungs.
And now let's give a warm welcome to our guest kiddish connoisseur, who's made it their business to visit every DC area shul kiddish. Thanks for being with us tonight.
Happy to be here to give you the scoop. Unlike a Kesher kiddish, it won't be as good as a lumpy egg salad you've ever seen.
So you really go to every kiddish?
Every single one. I check the parsha and the pastry lineup.
Incredible. Let's start with kasher.
Yes. Kasher, spiritually uplifting. Spatially, a fire hazard. I once made eye contact with the kugel from across the room and couldn't reach it for 15 minutes. You are not mingling, you are apologizing. There's barely space to walk.
How about Addis?
Yes, added. There it is the opposite problem. Too much space. Too much grandeur and opulence. I just want to show up in the hiking shoes I wore to brave the Connecticut Hill, but I feel like I'm underdressed at a wedding venue, because I literally am underdressed at a catered event in a wedding venue. It's like the Oscar of eggs, the Met Gala of minions.
That sounds like high praise.
It is, if you're okay with the bagels being more dry than your ex's personality. But sometimes it looks like a Target store on Black Friday in there. You haven't lived until you've seen a 6-year-old shoulder check a grown man for a cookie. I think that is what Shul is for.
Sounds like Darwinism with juice boxes. And how about Chabad?
Well, some say Chabad feeds the soul, but I can tell you it definitely feeds the body. Schnitzel, cholent, salad, pasta, a carnivore's paradise, and a vegetarian's nightmare. You walk in and think, I hope my arteries are ready.
And what about Rosh Pinah?
It's a snack table that whispers, we tried. but it's not their fault. You just feel guilty grabbing any food in the basement of the National Museum of American Jewish Military History while the soldiers' pictures are staring at you and saying, this is what we fought
for. And what about DC Minion?
DC Minion, you walk in and immediately you can feel the membership.
Membership? Do you mean sense of community?
No. Membership. Every snack, every table, you could really feel part of the Costco membership. It's like they're letting you know you're part of something greater. We hope you renew. But there's something unique and special about a DC Minion kid. You ever seen an enormous cake celebrating the win of a regional sports team? Ever had baked by Al cake pops in honor of 12 people's birthdays? Somehow the floor gets so dirty, but still people are sitting on it. Spend time with each other.
That's certainly something. I've got to ask, what drives you to do this?
I believe kiddish is the great equalizer. Rich, poor, young, old. We all hover near the same hummus, acting like we're not double dipping.
Wow, that's powerful.
Not to mention, I haven't paid for lunch on Saturday in 9 years. And I'm really lucky. DC Minion will even let me take home a bag of Cheez-Its and some wet baby carrots in a Ziploc for later.
Incredible insight. Truly boots on the ground journalism.
L'chaim! Here's to all the unsung heroes who refill the seltzer and rotate the rugala.
The Kiddish connoisseur, everyone!
Back to tonight's top stories. In 2026, 4 months have 5 Shabbats. January, May, August, and October, which means that DC's most committed minion will be having both a Friday night and Saturday morning service. Members were reportedly confused, saying they didn't realize observance was optional. And in true DC Minion fashion, a subcommittee has already been formed to study whether a 6th Shabbos could help with engagement.
Last month, the board sent out an email with a security update announcing new protocols intended to enhance safety while still preserving a welcoming environment. They said this email comes in the wake of recent events at synagogues and other Jewish institutions around the world, which is board speak for "we like to not be on the news."
Over the summer, the board convened an interim security committee because nothing says urgency like forming an interim committee that's temporary, but also met this fall and sent out an email in January.
Volunteers are currently being recruited who must be comfortable standing for 2 hours without a break and having conversations with people. So basically, any Jewish mom. No prior experience is necessary, which is great since nothing says trained security presence like laminated credentials printed at home and the unshakable confidence of someone who has absolutely no authority but plans to use it anyway.
This week, more headlines about the Epstein files, which is a nightmare for anyone with that last name. Luckily, we get corrected every time because nothing says completely unrelated, like yelling out Epstein before anyone even asks.
Hey, at least their name isn't Buddy, and the Levisons don't have to worry about being related.
In partnership with friends, DC Minion was invited to a 3-hour inter-community dialogue around their planned banner. The long-awaited dialogue was postponed due to weather, proving once again that the only thing more powerful than interfaith discussions in DC is panic at the word snow.
Participants are reminded that this is not a space to persuade, debate, problem solve, or develop options for a compromise related to the banner in these conversations. You heard that, right? 3 hours of eye contact and a dialogue specifically designed to avoid the thing most people think dialogue is for. It's like inviting people over to watch the Super Bowl and saying no cheering, no discussing the game, and no touchdowns.
Organizers say the dialogue is rooted in love, deep listening, and faithfulness to each other, which is an ambitious and fascinating cultural exchange when we're having a 3-hour dialogue with people who are professionally quiet. So the Quakers are like, let us sit in silence and wait for the Spirit to move us. And DC Minion is like, the Spirit has moved me and I am posting in the WhatsApp.
Good thing the session was ultimately pushed to February. By then, dry January is over. And if you're going to mix silent worship with Jewish processing, someone's gonna need to drink.
That's all for DC Minion Weekend Update. Good night.